Hi, everybody. We're live here for the first Nacho Tuesday. We have our first inaugural event here with Darius Santos from Dubb Video. And I would probably imagine that he's going to be just the perfect guy to talk to for this first webinar, since he does own a video platform. I'm pretty sure he's used to being on video quite a bit. So, today with Nacho Tuesday, what we like to do is put the spotlight on co-founders and C-suite members at some of the sellers that we carry on our marketplace. One of which is Dubb, which is a product that I'm really excited about. I think video and sales is very important today, more than ever, in a world where there's a lot of automated marketing going out. Everybody's spamming each other a bunch of emails and text links and more ads everywhere. And I believe, I'm a big proponent of this, that video is a great way to reach through and connect with your audience better than any of the other tools available on the market today. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Darius Santos and have him tell us a little bit about his background and how his company got started.
Yeah, right on. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here and proud to be the first guest here. And so anyway, yeah, Dubb. We actually, it's a funny story. The other co-founder, Ruben, he and I actually met 4+ years ago now when we had this idea. And his wife was a real estate agent and he worked at a company, and we were struggling to get that face-to-face connection. She was door knocking and getting rejected, and he was at a demand generation company, and they were trying to solve this issue of getting responses to their proposals and their outreach. And so the problem was there. And then I was in sales as well, and I realized the problem. And so when we had this idea, it was like, well, video is the future, right? Everything's happening video wise. I've seen the power of video, like you look at YouTube and things like that. And how do we capture that and give that to individuals, right? Individual salespeople and marketers and things like that. So the problem really arose in the place it was birthed, is in salespeople. So we built the platform, sort of built it as we were flying it, and launched version 1.0 4 years ago, and never looked back.
Sounds like a real startup problem. Yeah, most of the best entrepreneurs that I've ever met usually are people solving a problem that they really understand and go through themselves. Yeah. And then they just end up realizing that there's a lot more people like them out there. That's kind of what starts them on that journey. So, I guess I'd love like a 30-second elevator pitch. If there's people, watching this webinar and it's the first time they've ever heard about Dubb, we'd love to have you do that pitch and then maybe possibly even show us a demo if you could.
Yeah, absolutely. So my favorite thing to say is that we've all written a lot of messages, right? Emails, LinkedIn, texts, whatever. We've all written a lot of messages, and no one's ever responded with, wow, this was so cool. I've never seen anything like this. This is awesome. Maybe the best you got is like a thumbs up or okay, let's talk or something. And when you actually communicate with video, these are the types of responses you will receive. People will respond in a positive way that it's an illicit that they'll never get from anything else. You'll be like, wow, this was so awesome. It's great to meet you. I've never seen anything like this. Things like that, where you're going to build trust much faster than any other form of communication. And so just really quick, I'll give you, like you said, the 30-second demo here is just right inside of Gmail, where this is the most simple concept, where the main concept of the platform is, instead of typing messages, you can record. So I'm just going to pop into my Gmail. You can see this here, right?
Yep, I can see it. Perfect.
And you see this little button there right inside of Gmail. Now, instead of coming in and typing this long email, I can just click record, and my libraries of videos are there. And I can also record a brand new video. There's some things like a teleprompter available to read from a script. And then there's a virtual background in case you need to hide your stuff. So just stuff like this to make it as easy as possible to communicate via video. In fact, easier than it is typing, right? If you have to type and proofread a longer email, this will be far faster and more effective, 90-something% of the time. So that's the super fast demo. There's, of course, so much more to it, but that's the gist of what the technology is. Record videos instead of typing messages.
Yeah, that's one thing that our team in particular really liked about your guys' platform. So, we use it in our outbound sales efforts, actually. We eventually plan to use it in more ways too, because, once we saw your first demo, we're really sold on the product.
Yeah.
The UX was amazing. The way that you guys onboarded people into the product made it very easy for people to get started and understand how to create diverse videos and how to use them effectively in their marketing. You didn't just, allow people to make videos and then have them figure out what to do after.
Right. Yeah. Go figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, actually, that's one thing we really pride ourselves on. Every single person that works with us, we're going to provide an optimization setup call where we have them meet with a member of our team one-on-one and really build out every part of that process. So all the shortcuts, all the sort of branding, the customization, we set all that stuff up with you so that there is no, I got to figure this whole new software thing out. It's like, no, we're going to build the car around you and you're going to drive it away. So we're really proud of that.
Yeah, I think a lot of companies kind of miss on that. I'm glad that you guys tackled that head on from the start. Yeah, a lot of products I see out there, they just kind of assume the customer will figure it out.
We'll figure it out. There's lots of tutorials.
How many features we have? Not more features, no.
Right. Yeah.
So you guys did a good job tying all that together. I appreciated that about your product. So
we are a little guilty of lots of features. So there's a ton of features, but what we've actually done recently is we put tutorial videos on every section. There's articles if you prefer to read, and then of course there's ability to talk with somebody whenever you need to as well. So
yeah, but it's designed in such a way to where you can just kind of walk yourself into it, right?
Yeah.
It's not just a boatload of features right off the bat. You don't even know where to get started. So I think it was pretty intuitive.
Nice.
Great. So what do you think in today's world, in today's digital world, what are the most important aspects of sales? Since a lot of people aren't meeting face to face anymore, a lot of sales are happening this way. What do you think are the most important elements of that?
Well, first, the elements have arisen from the problems, really, is that, nobody's answering their phones anymore. Robocalls and just like auto forwarders and stuff, nobody's answering the phones. Far few people are answering the phones. I've heard some horror stories, people making, 1,000 calls a week and getting like 7 conversations or something, So calling is difficult. Email, just text-based email, like you mentioned in the beginning of this, so many tools are automating this process that they're pounding every single email server that they can, right? People wake up to 50 emails from especially CEOs, founders, people that get prospected a lot. They're just inundated with text-based emails constantly. And it's, hey, company name, first name, like at best, that's the personalization that's out there. And so this problem is the noise, the amount of traffic that's out there, and then the lack of personalization. I think those two things are a big problem. And so one of the keys is getting back that human element. The whole COVID thing created problems for that in-person connection, but we're sort of coming back to things regular now. In-person is really powerful, but when you're looking to scale, you can't have that in-person connection, more than like once a day or something, right? So that's where technology like video comes in, because we're able to add that element of personalization back into our communication while doing it virtually and scalable. We can do something human, make that connection with multiple people in a day versus having to go shake hands and things like that in person. So
scalability without losing the personalization aspect of it.
That's exactly, the key is maintaining that level of personalization in a world of all these automated things. LinkedIn, email, it's all the same. It's just like a series of messages to
I think more is going to be better.
Annoy you until you unsubscribe or say, okay, I'll take the demo, I guess.
Yep. What are the most popular ways that you see your customers using your product today?
I would say that it's actually interesting because we have focused heavily on the sales aspect of it. A lot of people come to us and say, yeah, okay, I want to make a personal connection in sales. And then they will soon realize, though, that there's every other aspect of not only the sales process, but throughout their business where they can leverage video. So first, in the sales process alone, that's the most common lead follow-up. That's like the number one thing is someone has a lead and they want to convert that lead into a demo, into an appointment, into a client. And that's the number one use case. The number two use case is nurturing. So you have a sequence, you have sort of leads that have gone cold or whatever. You have a group of people that aren't brand new leads, but they need some sort of nurturing to educate and sort of move them down the pipeline. Yeah. Another really common use case is actually capturing video testimonials. So they've completed a sales cycle. Now they're a happy client. And now we actually want to use the video technology to capture their video to use that testimonial on their marketing and sales efforts as well. So those are three really common things just in the sales cycle.
That's great. So what are some really cool, a lot of in these webinars, we also like to talk about some of the behind the scenes stories, some of the stuff that people don't get with, the typical online, a lot of online videos or stuff that they might see about your product. They get the elevator pitch, but what's a cool story that, a lot of people might not know about your company from the early days of founding it?
Well, I think that ever since the beginning, the way that we've built our software is by making ourselves available to our audience, right? We host live trainings every single weekday at 10 a.m. Pacific, where I'm able to come and talk to free trialers, paid users, everyone. And we've done that since the beginning because it's given us the opportunity to listen to what our audience, what the market says, and here's what we need, here's the features we need, here's the problems we're having. And then we've been building the platform that way ever since. So I would say that's a unique story sort of behind us, is that sometimes it seems like, oh man, where do they come up with these ideas? And it's like, it's you guys, you help us. So come in, tell us what we need, and then we like to build stuff. Now, of course, there's sometimes things just aren't going to happen, right? So I can't promise everybody that, but this is how we've liked to improve and grow our software, is just listening to our people.
That's great. Yeah, I've seen a lot of over the years. I've seen a lot of startups where they create a product in search of a market.
Yeah. They wall themselves in, and they're like, "We're going to build this really cool thing," and not asking to talk to anyone about it. And then like, "Okay, is this good?
Hey, does anybody like this?"
Yeah.
Let's send more automated emails out. Maybe somebody else.
Right. More text emails. Let's do it.
Yeah. What are some tips that you would give some would-be entrepreneurs to kind of get some initial traction with sales in their company? You just mentioned a great point about, having that dialogue with customers from the very early days. And I definitely agree with you on that. Any other tips that you would recommend?
So asking for entrepreneurs looking to get some early sales traction in their maybe early products. Yeah. So the two things that helped us a lot, and we're always still mastering, is the product market fit, right? Like your ideal customer profile. Find those people, really, really find them. And sometimes it takes refining your product, refining your message, refining the channels you're on, but really finding that person you need to speak to, and then focusing everything around that, at least in the beginning, so you can get some traction. Like what we did is we had a lot of success in real estate in the beginning because everyone's very, their business is very trust-based and it's very competitive. And so when one lead gets 4 emails from other real estate agents and then they get a video in one, that one they built more trust with quickly. And so that was our early product market fit. And we found that through trial and error. So that real estate group really sort of helped us in the beginning. We've since, spread across, but that is what I would say is my number one piece of advice, is try to find that ICP, ideal customer profile, and really narrow and sharpen everything, focus in on that.
That's great. What's one thing you think most people get wrong about sales? Well, the art of sales, if you will. I think you've touched on it a couple times, but just for anybody out there in the back row.
Right. Yeah. Everyone thinks, okay, if you're getting into things, you're like, I'm going to send 10,000 emails. We'll get a 5% conversion and get this. It's not going to happen. I can almost guarantee you this bulk email world is getting more and more difficult every day. And so this, I'm not saying don't do it. There's definitely a place and time for automation and for mass emails and things like that. But for cold prospecting, it's very difficult to do that these days. And so I would say, don't come in with the assumption that you're going to build this mass email, buy a list and grow your business that way. I would say that it's an effort to have, but don't put all your eggs in that basket and assume that there's going to be some boots to the ground. We're going to do some personalization. We're going to have to make connections one-on-one, especially in the beginning with some key customers, because we're going to have to figure out how we're going to expand into larger accounts, right? Or increase the, average deal size, things like that. And that requires conversation. That requires learning your audience. So expect to put, like I said, boots to the ground, talking one-to-one to people, one-to-one communications, at least until you get those feedbacks and the tractions and understanding your audience. And don't expect to be able to just buy the list, mass blast it through something and rake in the deals, because that ship has sailed, I believe, for most people.
Yeah, if it's easy for everybody else, it's if it's easy for you, it's easy for everybody else. So
right.
Eventually people start to tune out those messages. Yeah, I was just writing an article today about that. Actually, it's the more technology there is out there, the more tools become available, the more people think they have to use those to try to scale their efforts. But at the end of the day, marketing and sales is really just about people. And so if you always go back to that, trying to personalize your sales outreach with your videos, for instance, understanding your ICP, who your customer really is and how you solve their problem, are, they're the bedrock of any sales and marketing effort that you ever have. But increasingly in today's world, a lot of people are forgetting about those key elements, and they're just relying on the tools so much rather than, how to use the tools properly.
Right. Like I've never responded to an automated email, like things with unsubscribe buttons, but I have responded to emails that were tailored, and they could say, "Hey, Darius, we're working with companies with XYZ. Here's your competitors. Here's your stuff." They did their homework before they wrote this email. Now it took that person probably 15 minutes or 10 minutes of research or something at least to craft that message. Now they're not using video. I would have given them even more thumbs up if they did video, but the fact that they took that little bit of time to research was a type of message that I could respond to because I know that they did their homework and that this is interesting. And so that's what I encourage everyone else to do is, don't give up on workflows and sequences. I'm not saying that it's everyone's doing them, but put some effort into that personalized outreach and reap the rewards.
Yeah, for our outbound, we have somebody crafting some of the messages that we send out. Just all it takes is a line or two, right?
Right.
When people get a message that looks like it's tailored to them, they're going to have a lot more respect for it and actually want to take a look at what you're actually doing.
Yep. And it doesn't have to be 100% personalized as long as it looks like you wrote the message for them. Like, I am this type of person. I am doing this. This is my company. Like, it has to look like it was written for them for it to have that moment. Otherwise, if it's saying, it creates the opposite effect. You're like, I don't trust this person. I don't want to work with this person because they didn't do their homework. They don't know my business. It's like one hand you have perfect email that creates trust, and the other one breaks the trust because they're like, they didn't do anything to earn my business. So
yeah, and everybody can tell the basic custom variables in there. Like, hi,
right.
First name. Okay, yeah, I get these a lot.
Yeah, right.
Great. So where do you see sales evolving over the next few years? I mean, a lot more companies are doing it online. They're probably using video sales tools like you. They're doing the online meetings. Obviously, video is going to be a huge part of that. What else do you see evolving with this new hybrid workforce model that we have?
I think that AI is going to be a bigger part of it as well, like with coaching and performance and things like that. Because as the virtual workforce scales, there needs to be an ability to maintain and monitor that performance better. And there's some really cool tools that are coming out that can do that are monitoring calls and video and email and sort of performing analysis on that. So I think that's one thing that we're going to see a lot more of is an increase in AI technologies in the sales and marketing process to better score leads and contacts, to better evaluate performance of salespeople. That's what I think I see a big push in.
Great. Do you have any specific examples?
Yeah, actually, we built one. We were building one. We have a thing called Kyra. It's a patent pending, and it what's it called? It now analyzes your videos and gives you feedback and tells you what was your cadence. Were you using verbiage? Were you being empathetic? And so it actually gives you some feedback on each of your videos so that you can compare and see your words per minute, things like that. So there is that. There's another tool, actually, very, very popular tool. They've raised, I don't know, they're like a $1 trillion valuation almost now, something crazy. Gong.
I've used them before, yeah.
Yeah, and they're an AI thing that sort of analyzes your calls and stuff. So I see more of that coming.
Yeah. Finally, AI that's actually useful.
Right. It's like, what do we do with this? AI is so powerful. How do we use it to actually help? Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the early days of a lot of AI. I mean, it's finally starting to catch up in some areas, but some areas it's still kind of a moonshot where it sounds too good to be true. But yeah, I remember a couple years ago, a lot of startups coming out saying, "Hey, we have AI," but yeah, that's not real AI. So it's good to see that actual AI coming into effect and actually being used in a way that's practical.
Right. Yeah.
Cool. I guess aside from work, what's your favorite book that you're reading right now?
That's actually really funny you mentioned that because I'm actually writing a book. So
there you go. Even better.
I'm a high fantasy sort of novelist. Yeah, so I'm like 100,000 words into my first novel, so it's near completion of the rough, and then it's going to need a good editor to take it over. So
there you go. When do you plan on having it up?
It's tough to say, man, because I don't know what the editing process is going to be, but I would say within a year, I want to get this first one out.
It's really cool. Yeah, a lot of people I know are always writing like the 100th business book on the same subject.
Yeah, self-help. That's like an easy money thing. It feels like a lot of people make a lot of recurring revenue from that, but I'm like, I don't want to write that. I want to write fantasy stuff. So yeah,
it's all like Tony Robbins, like regurgitated.
Right. I'm gonna read this book and this book and this book, and I'm gonna write my own book with their chapters in it. There you go.
Yeah, I use a tool called Blinkist to kind of cut through the noise.
Yeah.
A lot of times when I'm reading those books, I get like the Cliff Notes audio book version of it. get it done in 10 minutes. If I really like the book,
right, then okay, I'll go pick it up, or audiobook or something.
But what I found is the more books you read, they're all kind of the same. They're just kind of repackaged in different ways. So
right, every once in a while you'll read one that'll change your perspective, and so I do like to pick up my business books every once in a while. Whatever new one will come out, and someone will say you got to check this one out. I'm like, all right, I'll read it. So
well, it sounds like yours is going to be pretty unique then.
Yeah. Mine's off the realm of business, but yeah, it's gonna be cool.
And everybody needs an escape every now and then.
Right. Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, all that stuff.
Cool. Well, let us know when it's out. We'd love to. I'd personally share it with my audience and whatnot.
Right on, will do.
That's cool. Do you have any other fundraising tips for would-be entrepreneurs? I mean, a lot of entrepreneurs always ask, like, how'd you get your money?
Yeah. Okay. Actually, this is a really interesting story. There are for especially SaaS or SaaS platform, there are markets like NachoNacho and other places where you can go get a listing, right? There's a lot of places where you can get a listing and have your, so, I mean, there's some stuff that you can do early on. Like there's a platform called AppSumo where they offer some lifetime deals. A lot of people get a good start there. That's a great place to put your software and sort of get some early customers. So there's platforms like AppSumo. They're probably the biggest one though. So if you can get in there with your SaaS brand new stuff, get in there, or go raise money, like go do the raising money in San Francisco, that type, like investor round. So you're either going to get customers and revenue, or you're going to go investor. So don't get the revenue and then try to get investors unless you're going to do really well. So
yeah, what a concept, getting revenue for a company.
right. You're like, do we get revenue or do we go get money? So you got to decide. If you go try to get the money first, investors, and see if it's a good enough idea. If you get the door shut on you too many times, then you can come to AppSumo or something like that. You have some software.
It always helps when you have a little bit of traction going.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if there's one thing that you'd love anybody to watch this webinar to walk away from understanding about Dubb, what would that one thing be? And where do you see the company going in the next 5 years?
I would say that if you're doing any sort of outreach, I mean, we work with everybody, like recruiters, nonprofits, every single type of sales organization, marketing, any type of outreach. I recommend you just check out a free trial. If nothing else, do a split test. Do this. Do a 100 messages text and 100 messages with a video inside of them, or even smaller, maybe 50. And I can almost guarantee you that one of those is going to result in far more positive outcomes, like 2-3x more positive outcomes.
I can guess
that's
what it's going to be.
Well, yeah, exactly. Guess which one it's going to be. So like that would be my one takeaway is we're going to provide all the training, live chat, just like this, come in, talk strategy, support everything, every single thing you need to actually make this test happen. And then the proof will be in the results. So that would be my one takeaway. Come give it a shot. And then if it doesn't work for you, then hey, it didn't work. But I think it'd be worth your effort to double your business.
Great pitch. Love it. So where do you guys see yourself in the next 5 years?
We are building the CRM. Yeah. So we're building out like a sort of HubSpot like CRM. We already have automations and contacts. It's got a CRM component in there. It's already there really, but we're going to be building it out more and more robustly. So that's where we're going to continue in that direction. So that's like an endless path, because there's real estate CRMs, or there's like a go high level type of CRM, or like a HubSpot where there's lots of functionality. So we have an endless path.
That's great. Yeah, we're really excited to see the updates over the next few years. We're excited about the partnership to work with Dubb. We're very excited about having a tool like yours in the marketplace. We think it adds a lot of value to our customer base. So hopefully our companies can grow together, and we'll be there to support you guys. Once again, thanks for the time today. Really appreciate you joining us on the first Nacho Tuesday and going on a nice little dry run with us, I guess, if you will.
Right on. Yeah. Thanks for having me. It's a blast.